Let me just read something Donald Trump has just posted on his Truth Social account confirming that Iran's Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. This is Donald Trump writing or posting on Donald Trump's account. Quote, Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead. This is not only justice for the people of Iran, but for all great Americans and those people from many countries throughout the world that have been killed or mutilated by Khamenei and his gang of bloodthirsty thugs. He was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems. And working closely with Israel, there was not a thing he or the other leaders that have been killed along with him could do. This is the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country. We are hearing that many of their IRGC military and other security and police forces no longer want to fight and are looking for immunity from us. As I said last night, now they can have immunity. Later, they only get death. Hopefully, the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. That process should soon be starting, in that not only the death of Khamenei, but the country has been, in only one day, very much destroyed and even obliterated. The heavy and pinpoint bombing, however, will continue uninterrupted throughout the week, or as long as necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed the world. General Hertling, Iran denies that the Ayatollah is dead. I'm just struck by how much detailed information is in here about our methods, the, quote, tracking systems and the highly sophisticated intelligence that he credits with finding Khamenei, and then the public declaration that the plan is for, quote, the IRGC military and other security and police forces to look for immunity from us. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, yes, way too much information. And open source intel is claiming some things that allowed the Israelis to strike a target that not only hit the Ayatollah, but others that was in a meeting. And that seems to be an indicator of why the attack was surprisingly held early this morning, which is contrary to the way Israel normally attacks, and that's during the nighttime. But all of that is conjecture right now, Nicole, but I think the president just confirmed some of that conjecture to allow people to connect the dots in terms of tracking mechanisms. When we're talking about the media, I mean, we're about 18 hours into this, and to suggest that a regime and especially the IRGC, which is a rabid military force, would suddenly change their coats and change their colors after 47 years of declaring the United States the great Satan seems to be a stretch for me. I don't quite believe that it's been that successful just yet. And you also have an Iranian state which has you can't say it any other way other than layered redundancy in the IRGC, the Vaji militias, the intelligence services, the security forces, and the controls that frame external strikes as proof of foreign hostility. That's what the population has been told. They've also seen regime change in every other country, as Ben Rhodes said earlier, Libya, Syria, Iraq. So when you're talking about a population that may even be dissatisfied with their government, can suddenly rally against what it perceives as an external aggressor, that's a little bit of a stretch in terms of logic and reason for right now. One might hope it would be true, but truthfully, like I said earlier, hope is not a method.
Director Brennan, Donald Trump also writing about the duration of the bombing campaign, saying, quote, the heavy and pinpoint bombing, however, will continue uninterrupted throughout the week or as long as necessary to achieve our objective of peace throughout the Middle East and indeed the world, exclamation point. Your thoughts?
The objective of peace, well, there's going to be a lot of deaths before we're on any better track here. I think what Donald Trump has done now is perpetuating and escalating this escalatory spiral of violence and attacks between Iran on one hand and the United States and Israel on another. For the past 50 years, there has been a lot of strikes on both sides. And during the first Trump administration, if you remember, when the Trump administration took out Qasem Soleimani, the head of the Quds Force, the Iranians then decided to send people to try to retaliate. And John Bolton and Mike Pompeo and others needed to have security because of that. I don't see any scenario whereby there's not going to be some elements of the Iranian regime, whether they remain in place or filter back into society, who are not going to want to retaliate for the death of the supreme leader. I know we talk about Iran being the most prominent state sponsor of terrorism, but that's through our prism. I mean, the Iranians look through their prism and they see a lot of blood on U.S. and Israeli hands. And I do think that this is just going to further intensify, I think, these feelings that the United States now is just exerting its muscles, its military might, along with Israel, in a way that really is not just unnecessary, but also reckless and unjustified. So it's, as Mark said, the future here, the near future is, I think, very uncertain. And to think that the IRGC is just going to put their hands up. Besides, there's going to be a lot of bloodletting, internally inside of Iran. Look what happened inside of Syria. Those who imprisoned the Assyrians were the ones that were then, sought and were targeted with the violence. So the situation inside of Iran, I think, is going to be very, very turbulent, very unstable, very uncertain for quite some time. And if a bombing campaign is going to continue for the weeks ahead, I can just imagine how much destruction and death there's going to be that is going to affect so many innocent Iranians as well as the elements of the regime.